Do you think that number 2, the number 2 pick with the Jets is in play?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I think the Niners would like it to be in play. I do think that, I mean, you look at Zach Wilson, he kind of represents the best of both worlds in terms of physically, he's impressive, and he's run an offense that's similar and has a skill set that translates perfectly to this offense. So he kind of represents.
He's a 3-year starter.
Right. So he kind of represents the best of everything for the Niners. I just think that pretty much everybody national seems to just say that Zach Wilson is the pick at 2. And usually when they're this certain near the top of the draft, because it's usually right on. Because usually the national media, where they start to struggle is like pick 5, pick 6, pick 7. That's when the draft usually goes to hell. But usually by April, everybody has kind of an idea that the first 3 picks will be X, Y, and Z. The first 2 picks will be X and Y. And I think for that reason, I just don't think it's in play. I think the Jets are going to take Zach Wilson. I think the Jaguars are going to take Trevor Lawrence. And I think the Niners are going to have to settle for whoever their 3rd guy is, or whoever their 2nd guy is, or maybe that's their 1st guy. But whoever that is, it's going to be that guy at 3.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk more about the smokescreen business a little later, like if they're creating one, and this, we'll talk about that later. But real quick, as a preview, it seems to me that if the Jets are taking Zach Wilson, and the Niners know that, the whole league knows that, they're not going to trade that pick. It's locked in. 99.9%, then the Niners really wouldn't have to create a smokescreen. And we could talk about that later, but that's why I'm skeptical. It seems like a lot of people think the Niners are creating a little, subterfuge here or whatever. I don't know if that's a word. It probably is. But I'm just saying, I think a lot of people are saying, well, you can't read the Niners. Maybe they have something up their sleeve. Maybe there's one more move.
So we're going to talk about this a bit later, but just as a rebuttal to that, what I will say is I don't think the Niners are putting out any of this information.
True.
They're taking. This isn't the Niners putting it down.
That's true. I think speculation.
The speculation, and it's all speculation stemming from people who know people close to Kyle Shanahan, or they know Kyle Shanahan, and they know how he thinks. Yes. And based on how he thinks, they're saying, we think it could be Mac Jones.
Good point.
Right. So that's really where this speculation is stemming from. And it could be right. It could be wrong. Nobody knows. And none of those people are coming out and saying, hey, Kyle told me this is the pick, or John Lynch told me this is the pick, or Mike Shanahan told me this is the pick. They're like, I know Kyle. I've been with Kyle, or I spent X amount of time with Kyle. And based on how he thinks, and I know him as a person, I think that Mac Jones makes the most sense. And that's where I think that is. But going back to the number 2 overall pick, which is the topic of conversation here, I think that in an ideal world, the Niners wouldn't mind just giving up an extra 3rd and or giving up a second and just going and getting Zach Wilson. I mean, you've already come this far. Why not just go get your guy if that's Zach Wilson? Or maybe Zach Wilson isn't their guy. I seem to tend to think that just based on skill set, he would be a guy that they would
if the Jets really like him, I would think the Niners would really like him. That's the thing. I think the Jets and Niners would have very similar grades on these players.
Oh, that's where I think it's one of the funniest angles in the NFL that hasn't been talked about. It's the fact that you're Mike LaFleur. I mean, Joe Douglas is obviously going to be the pick, but you're Mike LaFleur, Robert Saleh. You're first-time head coach, first-time offensive coordinator. You're trying to build the offense, and you're inspired by the guy, Kyle Shanahan, who just traded up to pick one spot behind you. To have the confidence to take whichever quarterback you believe in, knowing that he's like, all right, you can have him. I want this guy. That must be hard. And then do you overthink it and go, well, wait. So he doesn't want Zach Wilson? Well, I'm running the same offense, and he's okay with me taking Zach Wilson. Maybe he wants Mac Jones. Maybe he wants Trey Lance. Oh, wait. Should we take one of them? Wait, and then he took Zach Wilson. It's like they're playing mind games. I think it's a really funny angle to this entire thing. But again, not to go on the tangent, I just believe the Jets are set in on Zach Wilson. I feel like Steve Young said they're talking about houses in New York. So usually when you're going there, there's not much else to say other than Jets are set in on Zach Wilson. And then I think Trevor Lawrence knew he was going
If it's that
one.
cut and dry, though, I just don't understand people coming around being like, hey, man, the Niners, they got to keep people on their toes. Like, if everyone knows what the Jets are going to do and everyone knows what the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to do, then it seems like we should have a real good idea of what the Niners are going to do. And maybe we do. Real quick, Sean Brady says, talk to me, Vish. Give me odds you feel Jets take Pitts or Sewell at 2 and let Wilson slide to 3.
Low.
0.
I say low.
0.
Low.
I feel like if the Jets want to do that, then you swap.
Right. So I think Pitts is the best non-quarterback player in this draft, and he might be the best singular player in this draft.
That's true.
But although, again, taking a tight end at 2, as good as the player might be, it's
think
still
of him as a wide receiver. Think of him as a wide receiver. Whatever.
Even then, I still think maybe if it was a receiver, I don't know.
Think of him as a wide receiver. Calvin Megatron was number 2, but yeah, okay.
Right. I just think taking that player, especially when people seem to think the quarterbacks are really, really, really good in this draft. So because of that, it's a little rich. And then Sewell, I just think if Sewell had played this year, maybe Sewell would have guaranteed his status as being this cinch. Jonathan Ogden, Walter Jones, Trent Williams, Penei Sewell. You pick him in the top 5, and he's your left tackle for the next 15 years. He's a franchise-level left tackle. But since he didn't, even though he had a hell of a pro day workout, I mean, it was scary watching a guy his size move like that running the 3-cone. He's not from this planet, but I just think that there's no way the Jets would take him and pass on Zach Wilson.
Now, I could see it, them saying, you know what, even though we have Corey Davis and Denzel Mims, just swapping out Sam Darnold for Zach Wilson doesn't necessarily ensure success for us or success for the quarterback. Maybe the best move is to take Pitts or whatever. But I still think if they make that decision, which seems unlikely, that the next thing is to trade down. You don't take Pitts at 2. You know the Niners would love to trade up. You call them and say, hey, we'll trade down one spot like the Niners did with the Bears that year in 2013.
Right.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
Actually, where I stand, not to go on a little Jets tangent, but just real quick, I actually think the New York Jets should keep Sam Darnold and draft Zach Wilson. They've gotten it wrong so many times. Sam Darnold, at this point, they had enough picks and resources. That 3rd-round pick or 4th-round pick, whatever you're getting for Sam Darnold, is not worth it. Make them both compete. Whoever wins the job, then have that guy play this year. And let's say you like what Zach Wilson's doing in practice, then you franchise Sam Darnold, or you try and there's things you can do with Sam Darnold and get a resource for him if he looks better. And if Sam Darnold still sucks, well, you have Zach Wilson. And Sam Darnold is still 23 years old. So if he goes out and just kills it, Zach Wilson is still going to go for a 1st-round pick next year, because if Sam Darnold's killing it, then nobody's going to look bad at Zach Wilson. They're just going to say, wow, Sam Darnold finally killed it in a great position. So now you have a 24-year-old franchise quarterback and you're getting assets for Zach Wilson. So I think their best possible scenario, just because they've gotten this wrong so many times, is keep Zach Wilson, keep Sam Darnold, and draft Zach Wilson.
The Niners said they wanted a backup quarterback. Kyle Pitts is the pick.
No.
I'm cool with that, though. But we could talk about why later. I'm very conservative when it comes to drafting quarterbacks just because of historical patterns and what. But we're going to get to that.